Well, I've been counting them down from 5-1, just like Casey Kasem.
Nice.
My number one game of opening night featured the number one women's team in the nation, South Carolina. They blew out East Tennessee State by 80. And watching the game, I swear it was 180. It was just an absolute annihilation. And East Tennessee, while they're not in the elite of their conference, they've got some players. So why would I make this the number one game? I think the ESPN report the night after summed it up when they asked the question, are the Gamecocks even better? And having watched South Carolina just take apart and do whatever they wanted to do in any aspect of the game against East Tennessee, I'm here to tell you, hell yeah, they may be better. And
Yeah.
I have been really touting the Stanford Cardinal. I really like what Stanford could do this year and how I think in a lot of ways it could be just two teams destined for the final
Mm-hmm.
in South Carolina and Stanford. But South Carolina just was so impressive. It's like Dawn Staley, and it's not like they were trying to run up the score. They just everything they did worked. Dawn Staley, I has this team motivated. Like, okay, we did it last year. I'm not satisfied with just last year. I want another one. You're a special team, special talent. Let's not waste this talent. And I think that team is absolutely rallying around Dawn Staley there. Raven Johnson was just a dynamo at the point. I mean, they lost their starting point guard to the WNBA. She plays for the Indiana Fever now, and she was interviewed, between quarters, and they asked her about this. So, what do you think, Raven Johnson? She's doing this, and she's like, "Hey, let her do it." I mean, she's doing everything. She's stealing. I think she had 8 steals too. I mean,
Wow.
it was unbelievable. And again, South Carolina is just head and shoulders, no basketball pun intended, above East Tennessee State.
Yeah.
But everything worked. Aaliyah Boston played as if it was the national championship game, and this
And
was
only played
opening.
20 minutes.
Yes, and she had a block that would have 90% of the big men in the NBA shaking in their boots. I mean, she was just on fire. So they had 47 points from their bench.
Yeah. They had a double. Leah Boston had a double in only 20 minutes. She is the best player in college basketball right now. She has to be. Like, there's no doubt in my mind.
Well, I'm going to say Caitlin Clark, but they're very different players. I mean, Caitlin Clark is a perimeter player, and Aaliyah Brown, is not. But you look at this Gamecock. I think when a team is that dominant the year before, we look for reasons to think that they're not going to be as good the next year, and I am guilty of that. I've been trying to maybe build up other teams like Iowa and Stanford to a higher standard, and put them on a pedestal so that South Carolina might look lesser by doing so. But I don't know that's really being a fair reporter. That's being more of a fan as opposed to being a fan and a reporter. And as a reporter, I'm telling you, Christian, South Carolina is uh, is everything that any periodical, any glowing piece writes about them. They're that and more.
And we're going to see them on Friday night head into Maryland, and we're going to see a ranked matchup between number 1 and number 17. We just saw them win against ETSU by 70. And now we're seeing if South Carolina can really get the job done and show what they're made of. We're going to see what their actual rotation looks like a lot more in this Maryland squad. We're going to see Aaliyah Boston play more than 20 minutes. Maybe we see a triple-double out of her then in that case. Regardless, the South Carolina team is very, very good and smells like a repeat.
Yeah, and then we have to make a rule, even though we are SlasherU, we do need to make a rule of no math because I said they won by 80. Earlier we had some other questionable math when we were looking at things. So parents, if you're having your school-age children watching us, we certainly appreciate that, but there will be no math here. Do not trust any mathematical calculations we make on this podcast because it's probably wrong. And when they go to school and use that same calculation, that you're going to get a failure notice coming back. So just a caution out there. We're not here to educate you, even though we are SlasherU. We're here to talk about college sports, college basketball.
Basketball fun, math hard.
Yeah, yes.